Hello, happy Monday. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman Singh. Topping our newscast, Governor Mapp is out of the territory, but Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter is holding down the fort. The acting governor recently submitted legislation to the Senate requesting millions of dollars in additional funding. The request seeks to fulfill promised pay raises as well as patch up a hole in a Department of Education program. News 2's April Knight has details.
Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter is asking the Senate to authorize some $25 million in additional monies from the general fund. Potter, as acting governor, sent the bill to the legislature on Friday. This comes after the governor's financial team, led by OMB Director Nellen Bowery, told the Senate Finance Committee on Tuesday that an additional $25 million was needed to cover various financial gaps, including the school lunch program. Potter's bill specifies some $2.8 million to carry the territory's school lunch program through to the end of the academic year. A majority of that money, some $2.3 million, is needed to cover increased costs alone due to larger portions required by the federal government. The bill would also fund step increases promised by the governor. Some $19.22 million in salary raises would go toward 9 government agencies, including $5.6 million for the sprawling Department of Education mechanism. Other departments due for step increases include the Bureau of Corrections, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the Division of Personnel, the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, Fire Services, the Department of Human Services, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, and the Police Department. A separate $1.6 million would be given to pay substitute teachers. According to the financial team, no such appropriation was made for paying substitute teachers at all, even though with the vacancies in the department, it has had to rely increasingly on substitutes to fill teaching gaps. The 31st legislature is expected to review the bill during its Senate session this week. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The acting governor's bill also requests some $125,000 for the junior ROTC program on St. Croix, as well as $600,000 for the literacy and mathematics intervention program for kindergarten to 3rd grade students. In crime reports on Wednesday, February 17th at 8:43 a.m., the 911 emergency call center received a report of a body discovered in the waters of the lagoon located in Nada. Officers located the body of a black male with braids entwined in the mangrove. Personnel with the Department of Planning and Natural Resources were contacted, and along with officers and detectives, they removed the body and transported it to the Schneider Regional Medical Center for the autopsy to be performed. The deceased possessed no ID, and the case has been listed as dead on arrival, DOA, pending the results of that autopsy. Call detectives if you have any information. On Friday, February 19th at approximately 8:45 p.m., Tribulcio Cruz, 60, of no fixed address, was arrested and charged with grand larceny after he was identified via surveillance as the individual who broke into 2 vehicles and removed several items. Bail for Cruz was set at $35,000. Also on St. Croix at approximately 9:57 p.m. on January 21st, police responded to a discharging of shots in Frederickstead, Campo Rico turf area. Upon arrival, police observed an unresponsive black male slumped over in a chair with multiple gunshot wounds to the body. The victim was later identified as 24-year-old Tishon Samuel, who succumbed to his injuries. On St. Thomas, officers responded to a discharging of shots on January 20th in Estate Agnes Fancy. They discovered the unresponsive body of Stephen Coleman lying in the roadway. The second victim, Heidi Mills, was shot in the head and lower leg, and Mills succumbed to her injuries, as we reported 3 days later at the Schneider Regional Medical Center. They're still looking for help. If you can call with any information that can assist police officer. Now, a man who said he shot and killed a 66-year-old on Thursday, February 18th, 2016, told police that while he was being treated at the Roy Lesher Shanner Hospital in St. Thomas, that he did so in self-defense, attempting to protect his own life from a hostile attack that he said was triggered by the deceased, identified as Randolph Rapsat of Olcagata, and that's according to VIPD's Police Commissioner Delroy Richards. Mr. Richards revealed that Jahil Francis, 19, initially considered a suspect as being treated as a victim after declaring that he acted in self-defense and that he was stabbed several times, once in the waist and multiple times in the neck. And police continue to investigate. Meanwhile, that report came in on Friday. The 911 emergency call center received notification of that incident involving an assault victim at about 8:11 p.m. Upon arrival on the scene, officers found the unresponsive male victim who had sustained multiple gunshot wounds lying motionless on the ground in Savannah. The emergency medical technicians that responded to the incident indicated that the victim showed no vital signs and pronounced him dead on the scene, and he was later identified as Mr. Rapsat. Count on 2 to keep you updated. Senator Novell Francis Jr. is reminding you of the first annual crime symposium that will be held on Tuesday, February 23rd. That symposium, titled Breaking the School to Prison Pipeline, that will be held at the Great Hall on the University of the Virgin Islands St. Croix campus from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Francis says he hopes to stimulate better practices designed to target those at-risk youth who are more prone to go straight from the school system into the criminal justice system. Featured presenter Dr. Kimberly Mills, who is the Associate Director of the UVI Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities. A variety of government and community agencies are expected to participate in that day-long symposium. Governor Kenneth Mapp and Director Farrell met with Director Dwayne Hamlin and his leadership team of the Veterans Affairs. Director Hamlin has oversight of the San Juan Veterans Affairs Medical Center, commonly known to the Virgin Islands veterans as the San Juan VA Hospital. This was the first of a series of meetings targeting the enhancement of quality of life for veterans in the territory. If there are any questions or concerns, you can contact the Office of Veterans Affairs, and here are the numbers: 340-773-VETS on St. Croix, 340-774-VETS, St. Thomas, St. John. The Puerto Rican government is cracking down on power theft and tax fraud. The most common form of offense is power theft, a practice in which a consumer tampers with the electric meter, illegally cutting their bills in the thousands of dollars. Now the government wants its money, chasing consumers for back bills owed to the struggling Puerto Rican Power Authority. The Puerto Rican government is currently burdened by some $72 billion in debt, as we reported. 40% of that debt is accounted for by public agencies, including the Power Authority. Well, overseas, for the first time in the 2016 presidential race, Saturday brought multiple contests on the same day. Democrats weighed in on a tight contest in Nevada, and Republicans cast their first ballots in the South. Karen Kaifa wraps the results from Columbia, South Carolina.
The balloting started at 7 a.m. Saturday in South Carolina, but the contest out west brought the day's first results. Hillary Clinton entered Nevada's Democratic caucuses in a tight battle with Bernie Sanders and came out on top.
I am so thrilled and so grateful to all of my supporters out there. Some may have doubted us, but we never doubted each other.
But the margin of victory, much slimmer than perhaps the campaign hoped. Bernie Sanders noted how he's been playing catch-up.
What this entire campaign has been about is the issue of momentum, is the issue of bringing more and more people into the political process.
From first in the West to first in the South. Donald Trump led by double digits in most polls heading into Saturday's contest, and he posted his second victory of the 2016 Republican race.
Let's go. Let's have a big win in Nevada. Let's have a big win at the SEC. Let's put this thing away.
But with Trump's victory, a departure from the race. Jeb Bush, the one-time frontrunner, held from his famous family in this crucial state, was not enough.
The people of Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina have spoken, and I really respect their decision. So tonight, I am suspending my campaign.
Next up for the remaining Republicans, party caucuses in Nevada on Tuesday. The Democrats come here to South Carolina for their first in the South primary next Saturday. In Columbia, South Carolina, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on the economy, here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange at the Stock Market Watch. Taking a look at those numbers there, we can see the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P all up. The Dow 228, NASDAQ 66, S&P 500 27. Coming up on News 2, time for our Black History quiz as we continue to recognize Black History Month. Who is the controversial film director, producer, writer, and actor noted for his many films dealing with social and political issues relevant to the Black community? This had made his films very profitable. The answer coming up next. Welcome back. Over the weekend, a little over 1,000 customers experienced a power outage on the Big Island. Water and Power Authority spokesperson John Greer reported an electrical service interruption across the Estate Glen, Montbijou, Little Fountain, and La Valley areas of St. Croix. According to WAPA, line department crews have found tree branches and overgrowth impacting line facilities near the Betsy's Jewel area. The crews had some challenges with the repairs due to inclement weather, but as the rain and winds subsided, WAPA crews completed the task of trimming the tree branches back and restoring electric service. The interruption began at approximately 9:15 a.m. Saturday morning. Full service was restored to all affected areas by 11 a.m., according to WAPA. Well, due to mechanical failure of a fire apparatus located at the Anna's Retreat Fire Station, the Virgin Islands Fire Services has been forced to close the Bordeaux Fire Station temporarily until further notice while repairs are being made. The apparatus and personnel of Tango Company are being relocated to the Emile Berry Fire Station, and personnel of the Echo Company are being relocated to the Tutu Fire Station until repairs have been completed. All emergency calls between the Estate Dorothea and Bordeaux communities will be transmitted through the Emile Berry Fire Station. The Virgin Islands Fire Services regrets any inconvenience and will keep you updated. Horse racing has been a part of Virgin Islands culture, and the biggest races can certainly become one of the highlights of the year for Virgin Islanders. However, a tangled dispute involving the track operator, the VI government, and St. Croix horsemen is keeping live racing off the tracks. News 2's April Knight has more.
For a sport that easily goes back 200 years, the racing industry on St. Croix is stuck in what one lawmaker called a Mexican standoff. Testifiers came to the Senate Monday to talk about the virtual absence of live horse racing at the Randall Doc James racetrack, largely due to an ongoing court matter between the track operator Traxco and the VI government, and a dispute between Traxco and the Horsemen Association. Traxco officials say they've been holding up their end of the contract, but they're bleeding money.
To be bleeding the way we are, and we're saying that we're in this partnership, only one beneficiary is actually benefiting from the partnership.
Who's that beneficiary?
The horsemen.
But according to St. Croix horsemen, it's unfair for Traxco to operate a racino while preventing horsemen from conducting live racing except on Ag Fair weekend, and then not again until September of that year. Even on Ag Fair weekend this February, no racing occurred on the racetrack. Horsemen say they're the ones losing money.
It's costing us every day gas twice a day. And to say they still making money as we speak here today, the racino open, they say my classroom open. Husband them suffering.
Reports to the Senate speak of repairs that need to be done at the racetrack, such as the track surface deteriorating, proving dangerous to jockeys and horses, but Traxco officials said such issues were addressed. According to lawmakers, the racetrack dispute being up in the air affects not just recreation, but economic development in the territory.
Because it's not just the horseman, we're talking about the vendors. All these vendors that make a living out of this event, indirectly or directly.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
And that hearing continued late into the afternoon, during which Traxco was accused of trying to keep the racino operation going while getting rid of the live horse racing element altogether. Tourism stakeholders across the United States Virgin Islands are being encouraged to register for the Department of Tourism's upcoming customer service training sessions. Those sessions will be held on Thursday, March 3rd at the University of the Virgin Islands Great Hall on St. Croix, and on Friday, March 4th at the Windward Passage on St. Thomas. At each location, a general session will be held from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by a session for supervisors, taxi drivers, and tour operators. A customer service presentation by an accomplished Caribbean business development professional, along with presentations from the Office of the Governor on ADA, VIPD, and the Virgin Islands Etiquette and Leadership Institute are just a few what you can expect. You can call the tourism office for more information and to sign up. A new local casino could soon rise on the Big Island, and now the businesses involved are looking for local talent to fill up to 70 positions. They held a job fair at Innovative on St. Croix in an effort to draw the right people for that job. If you're interested, you can go to the Department of Labor's website at www.dol.views.vi. Here's more.
We've got a plethora of positions, from the general manager to the HR manager to controller, all the way to the facilities technicians to slot mechanics, and we've got probably 12 to 15 positions open, all the titles. We're looking for between 50 and 70 people to fill those positions.
More private sector jobs are excellent for the general area, and I think it's also great for everyone here to practice their skills in talking and interacting with employers, and I'm actually really excited by what the Department of Labor is doing and some of the training that they're providing. I think that's excellent.
This spring, the University of the Virgin Islands welcomed a new dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dr. Emily Williams brings a wealth of experience in teaching writing and editing within the humanities, with specialty focus on Afro-American and Caribbean literature. Dr. Camille McHale, UVI's Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, said UVI is pleased to have Dr. Emily Williams. She brings a wealth of administrative experience, having served in the role of chair, dean, and founding dean at various institutions. She is no stranger to the Caribbean. She was a Fulbright scholar with a former residency at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica, and is founding editor of Caribbean Vista's online journal. She comes to UVI after a 13-year career as a tenured professor at Morehouse College. A team of middle school mathletes from the Good Hope Country Day School will represent the St. Croix School District in the territorial Math Counts competition set for March 30th, 2016. On St. Croix, the mathletes secured the top spot in the school district's Math Counts competition that was held on Friday, February 19th at the Good Hope Country Day Pavilion. Church of God Holiness Academy team placed second, and the Elena Christian Junior High team rounded out the top three teams. The top scorer in the countdown round was 12-year-old Kieran Walters Sundaram, a 7th grader at Good Hope Country Day, and 8th grader Amari De Souza of Elena Christian Junior High School came in second place. Now, the St. Thomas St. John District mathletes will compete on Tuesday, February 23rd, 8 a.m. at UVI. Now for a moment in Black history. Shelton Jackson Lee, better known as Spike Lee, is a controversial film director, producer, writer, and actor, noted for his many films dealing with social and political issues. Spike was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but raised in Brooklyn, New York. He developed film skills at Clark Atlanta University and received his undergrad degree from Morehouse College. Lee's movies include School Days, Do the Right Thing, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, and Bamboozled, just to name a few. His movies have examined diverse and complex issues ranging from race relations, the role of media in contemporary life, urban crime and poverty, and political issues. Noted film critics described Spike Lee as one of the greatest filmmakers working in America. Lee's willingness to tackle sensitive issues of relevance to the Black community has made his films profitable. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next. Happy Monday, everyone.
one, and it's been a beautiful one so far across the Virgin Islands. Looking at our current radar, you'll notice some activity here off to our west, but the good news is the bulk of that action will remain off to our west. And looking at our big picture satellite, no real features to contend with here across the Caribbean, just that moderate trade wind flow, nothing we're not used to for this time of year. So with the exception of a couple of spotty trade wind showers, the forecast over the next several days looking absolutely beautiful. And we will enjoy quiet weather tonight with partly cloudy skies, largely dry conditions, and an overnight low of 75 degrees. Mostly sunny and pleasant tomorrow in St. John as temperatures climb to the mid-80s. Your daytime high is 84 degrees. Also 84 for the high in St. Thomas under mostly sunny skies and largely dry conditions tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine to enjoy in St. Croix as high temperatures climb to 87. If you're heading out to the water in the Atlantic, here's a look at your marine forecast. Now, there is a small craft exercise caution in effect because we could see some swells, waves between 4 and 6 feet with southeasterly winds between 10 and 15 knots. However, quiet conditions marine-wise on the Caribbean side with waves between 4 and 6 feet and those easterly winds between 10 and 15 knots. Here's a look at the week ahead in your extended forecast. As I mentioned, should be beautiful over the next several days. Mostly sunny Tuesday and Wednesday with highs at 84 and overnight lows falling back into the mid-70s. Thursday and Friday look picture perfect as well. Warm, sunny, and dry. Now we do have a frontal boundary approaching from the west as we look ahead towards the weekend, so we could see the increase of a couple of clouds and a stray shower as we look ahead to the day on Saturday. Sandy, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you for that. Send us your weather pictures to the address right there on the screen, CBS News 2 Innovative Business Center, and be sure to tune in to see your work about here on News 2. Stick around. We have much more straight ahead. We'll be right back.